everyone, Heather here with Astrology with Heather.com, and I am back with another weekly forecast. This one is for Monday, October 21st, all the way through to Sunday, October 27th of 2019. And this week we have some interesting energy. This week starts off with some really good vibes. We have Venus in a really nice harmonious trine with Neptune, which helps us to feel more fantastical and imaginative and indulgent. And it allows us a little bit of rest and reprieve where we can escape, and we can do so in a way that's appropriate without creating a mess or glossing over our responsibilities. It's like the perfect time to take a break. And so there's not a lot of intensity or momentum at the very start of this week on Monday. However, as we move through the week, things start to build and get more and more intense. And so by the time we get to the end of the week into the weekend, things change pretty dramatically in terms of the energy and the way that things feel. And that's because we'll have the sun moving into the sign of Scorpio on Wednesday. Happy birthday to all of my Scorpio subscribers and viewers out there. You guys are about to have, most of you are about to have a pretty nice year ahead. The ones that are born this weekend might have a little bit more of an interesting time with a lot of really dramatic change coming this year. But overall, it's all positive. So, and if you are a Scorpio rising, I have your 2-hour solar return forecast video available for you to download immediately. The link is down in the description below. And so anyway, so Scorpios are are having a good year for the most part, but this is going to be kind of an intense scorpionic energy this week, especially like I mentioned before coming into this weekend. We're going to have a new moon that's going to happen at 4 degrees in the sign of Scorpio on Sunday. And this new moon is in an exact opposition with Uranus and Taurus. So this is going to shake things up quite a bit for a lot of people. It's the end of the week, but it's going to feel like a really big new beginning. There's a lot of intensity and there's a lot of transformative energy that can be harnessed if you choose to do so. And sometimes you might not choose to do so, and it might just come about anyway, because that's the nature of Uranus. It brings, the least expected events and occurrences and surprises in your life in order to liberate you from things that no longer serve you. And in this particular circumstance, what Uranus will be liberating us from are emotional and psychological attachments to certain ideas, situations, people, even past fears and traumas that we might have some sort of attachment to that we might not realize that we're holding on to and that we need to let go. These types of energies can come up, and they can come about in really surprising ways that show us things about ourselves that we didn't even realize. And we're like, oh, duh, that's why this is that way. That's why I need to, move on from this relationship. That's why, I don't feel right in this job situation. These types of revelations can come about, this divine insight, this divine inspiration through the energy of this really psychically attuned new moon in the sign of Scorpio, where we're experiencing things really intensely, where our psychic abilities are heightened, which they already are during the new moon. It's a more intuitive, more interconnected, more introspective time when our abilities can be heightened in a non-physical way. And then you have Uranus, which is the planet, it's the great awakener. It awakens us to, what we've been holding on to in our lives. It awakens us to where we're holding back or what's sort of stuck or stagnant or what needs to change. It can bring really powerful insights and new ideas, but this is going to be more introspective than anything else. It's going to be like insights about what's going on beneath the surface that we need to break out of, that we need to transform, that we need to let go of, things that are toxic in our lives that we need to shift in order to make the change that we really want for ourselves in our reality. And so that's a lot of the energy this weekend. Even though there's this really powerful, really intense, highly focused energy around change and transformation and digging things up and pulling them out so that way we can see them and work with that energy and shift that energy, there's also going to be a sense of frustration because we have Mars, which is going to be in the sign of Libra, squaring Saturn and Capricorn. And so this is a heavy energy. We have the two malefic planets in square with one another at the time of a new moon, which, by the way, this new moon is with the moon at its perigee, which means that the moon is very close to the earth at the time of this new moon. One of my teachers, Lynn Coyner, refers to these types of new moons as crisis lunations. A lunation is another word for a new moon or the start of a lunar cycle. And she says this because if it hits your chart in a particular way, it brings about crisis. And I've seen this to be true. And so some people might have some sort of emotional or psychological crisis that's brought on by this new moon as well. So it might feel quite intense for a lot of people. For others, you'll experience it a lot more positively, especially if you've been really wanting to change something, but not knowing what's holding you back. But the other energy that's coming into play here is this Mars-Saturn energy, the two malefic planets. I would be surprised if we didn't see some sort of difficulty on the world stage coming up this weekend and into next week with the really intense energy that's going on here. But beyond that, in our personal lives, this is going to cause some frustration. This is going to cause us to really want to push forward with something. It's like we feel really intensely that we need to purge something, we need to let go, we need to make this really great change in our lives. And Mars is like, I want to push forward, and Saturn's like, nope, not yet. You know, delays. I always say that when Saturn comes around. It's like my husband and my joke about Saturn when we had hard Saturn transits the past couple of years. Everything took longer, it was delayed, it brought frustration, and this is no exception to that. Mars is a planet of action. It's a planet of willpower. It's a planet of doing something. And it causes us to want to initiate something in our lives, especially under the energy of this new moon, which is bringing about this dramatic change, new beginnings for so many people. We have this energy of wanting to push forward, but maybe we're not considering the needs of other people before we move ahead. Maybe we're taking too much consideration for the needs of other people before we move ahead. That could be part of it too, with Mars in the sign of Libra, which is about taking into account the other and relationship before you just push forward with your goals and plans and your ambitions. This could also just be that there are some blockages that come up for you that cause delays because maybe you're pushing forward too fast, maybe you're being a little too headstrong, maybe you're not quite ready, but you feel like you need to do it right now. And Saturn is slowing you down so that way you can see things a little bit more from a different perspective, so that way you can do things the right way instead of the fast way. Even though it feels like there might be a sense of urgency, it doesn't need to happen now, and Saturn's going to show you that, and it's going to cause situations for a lot of people, especially those in the cardinal signs, which are Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, that you don't have to do it all right now, and maybe you can't do it all right now. And even if you don't see the reasoning behind that, or the bigger meaning behind what your experience is in the moment, later on it'll become apparent, like, oh, I'm glad I didn't rush into that because, oh my goodness, that would have been a mistake. And if you do push forward and you push too hard and you try to make it happen anyway, that usually can cause a bit of a mess for people. So you just want to be aware and slow your roll, take a step back. This is not a time to just jump in head first, even though there is that energy there where you might want to, and internally it feels like you have to do it right now because it's a crisis. You have to take the right steps. You have to do it in a very measured, very planned out sort of way. And the new moon isn't a time to just jump in and do things physically. It's a time where you gain insight, you gain inspiration. It's that psychic time where you can be more introspective and understand things, so that way you can see the right intentions. And so when the moon begins to grow as the lunar month progresses, you can start to actually take those physical steps because you've taken that time to contemplate and to feel it out beforehand and to seed those intentions at the time of the new moon. There's not a lot of energy behind the moon when it's new. I mean, there is, but it's not the same as seeing, there's not a lot of physical energy, I should say, when the moon is new, because you can't see it physically, right? So that's part of that. And so that's really what's going on this week. So we start off with this dreamy Neptunian, like everything feels so good. And, I just want to kick back and indulge and maybe, watch a good movie, read a good book, do something creative, engage in, romance with my partner, do something that ignites passions with the Venus being in the sign of Scorpio. And then it starts to shift and it starts to get a little more intense. It's like, all right, There's some turbulence here. There's some frustration. There's a little bit of anxiety maybe. What does this mean? And what is this trying to show me? And what do I need to change? And what are the steps I need to take so I'm doing it the right way and I'm not just jumping in all crazy? So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. And so, of course, I'm going to get into this more in depth for all 12 signs. And before I do that, I just want to make a couple of really quick announcements that I'm actually quite excited about. So the first one is that I have created an astrology video course for beginners. I've been doing my foundational astrology small group course for over a year now. And through that course and the feedback I've been getting and through asking you guys in real time on my YouTube channel and on my social media and in my Facebook groups and things like that, I've really honed in on what I believe to be the best material for beginners to really understand astrology from the ground up. So whether you're a true beginner or if you have a little bit of knowledge already in astrology, this is a great course for you to get a holistic foundation to go on, maybe even to be a professional astrologer someday. And so this is my video course. It's available now for pre-order. It's going to be available for all of you to view and to study from and learn from on October 29th. If you pre-order, you can get 20% off at the link below with the coupon code that's listed below. And so you want to get in now if you feel like you could benefit from this course. And I have 3 different versions of the course based on whatever your goals are in astrology and in utilizing this information. So if you just want to learn the basics so you can have a better understanding of the things that you're reading and watching on YouTube and all of that, and for additional webinars and things, I have a version for that. If you're a serious student of astrology and you want to know everything, I have a version for that. And if you want to go on to do this professionally, I have still my small group course that is available twice per year, and you can get on the wait list for that. So again, link is down in the description below. And in addition to that, I'm going to be doing a basic series, like an astrology basic series, which I started last week with just a basic overview of the signs, planets, and houses. Or sorry, not the signs, planets, and houses. That's next week. Of the sun, moon, and rising sign in astrology. And I'm going to be releasing 1 to 2 videos each week for the next few months, going over not all of the basics, but a lot of the most fundamental materials and fundamental concepts in astrology for beginners. And I'm also doing that on my Instagram account. And so I'm giving like basic rundowns of the signs, the planets, the houses, so you can learn from that. So if you're not following me on Instagram already, definitely do that. I'm creating more and more content for Instagram and sharing more information there than I have in the past. And so my Instagram handle is Astrology with Heather, just like this YouTube channel. And so make sure you jump down there and get in on that if you want to learn in bits and pieces here. And if you really want to dive deep, that course, I've been working on it for over a year now, and it's ready for you guys. So I'm excited for that. All right, and so let's get into the forecast now for all 12 signs, beginning with the sign of Aries. And so for Aries and for Aries rising, I'm going to be focusing on what's going on at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week for each of the 12 signs, with that Venus trying to Neptune where things feel good and then where things get a little bit dicey into the weekend. And so that's really, it's going to be 2 different energies, but you're going to be experiencing them in 2 different time frames. And so that's important to understand as I go through, the forecast for all of these signs here. And let me actually get my little thing up there. All right. And so for Aries and for Aries rising, this, first off, at the beginning of the week, you're going to have some really nice energy around just kicking back and spending time just going a little bit deeper, maybe doing some sort of deep spiritual study or exploration, spending time focusing on deep healing, on creating deeper intimacy in your partnerships, a deeper understanding in all of your relationships. This could be a great time to visualize what you want in terms of finance, in terms of especially things involving debt or joint finances or investments or inheritance or even joint finances with a marriage partner and maybe what you want for them. This could also be a really great time to visualize what you want in terms of intimacy in your partnerships and to really hone in on that. This is a deeply creative, deeply intuitive time for you. So this is a great time at the start of the week to kick back, to spend some time in introspection, and to get a deeper understanding of anything that's been bothering you that you have had trouble sorting out logically. At the end of this week, into the weekend especially, there's going to be a full moon again in your 8th house. This is an 8th house season for you, Aries, because Scorpio is the 8th sign and you are the 1st sign. So that's just how it's going to be this month. But this is going to bring new beginnings for you, and the desire to change something really intensely as it relates to your financial situation. This could be that there are power and control issues that come up for you involving finances that maybe you weren't aware of. Maybe there are fears or anxieties or past traumas around money or instability on a material level that come up for you that you need to address, you need to work through, and you need to let go of in order to change your financial circumstances. This could also be bring about some sort of really exciting new opportunity for you involving finances or an investment or some sort of inheritance or some money that comes from an outside source. But this could also bring inspiration that allows you to rectify any power and control situations involving finances. So that could be anything from past debts that need to be resolved where banks or institutions are holding money over your head, or power struggles involving joint finances, or any issues around money. So you're going to get some inspiration that can help you to change things moving forward. This Mars square to Saturn is bringing up some intensity around your relationships and around your work, and especially work-related relationships and relationships with superiors. There might be arguments, disputes, hardships, challenges. There could be a blockage to moving forward with your plans and goals that comes through your relationship or that comes through your work and is impacting your relationship negatively. Just know that these delays and these difficulties that are coming up for you are coming up for a reason, because you need to work through this before you move forward in order to move forward in the right way, right? Instead of just moving forward because you feel like you need to in the moment. All right, and then for Taurus and for Taurus rising. So this energy here with this trine between Venus and Neptune is occurring in your 7th and in your 11th house. And so at the start of this week, it's a really great time for you to connect with friends. It's a really great time for you to connect with people that you care about, to connect in relationships. So socializing and engaging in relationship, or even escaping into relationship and social connections in order to get away from the day-to-day grind of everyday reality is actually favorable during this time. And this is a great time for romance. So if you're in partnership, definitely go out, have, a little romantic getaway, or go on a date or something, or even just spend time at home doing something a little bit more creative or fantastical, indulge in fantasy together if that's your thing. All of these things are favored. And even if you're not in partnership, getting out there and socializing can bring really close connections, romantic or otherwise. And then later this week, this full moon is actually happening in your 7th house of relationships. And so this could bring a fresh start for you in partnership, especially if you are a Taurus sun, moon, or rising sign in particular, near that 4th degree in the sign of Taurus, where you have Uranus right on your ascendant. This is going to cause you to need to change something in order to create new beginnings for yourself in relationship. And it could even bring up a crisis of relationship that requires some sort of change, some sort of action, some sort of liberation or shake up from the day-to-day mundane reality of those connections in your life. And that's not just romantic partnership. That could be all close personal relationships, including friendships, business partnerships, close relationships with family members, things like that, client relationships. All of that falls under that realm. But there's going to be a lot of intensity and powerful new beginnings coming for you, a reset in your partnerships, especially if you're near that 4th degree. So I would say anywhere really, because this is a powerful new moon, anywhere from like 0 to 8 degrees, you'll be feeling this really strongly, maybe even up to 10 degrees. And so, if you've been needing a reset, then this could be a good way to reignite your passions, to reignite your excitement in your relationships, and to to reassess your loyalty, right, in partnership as well, and to reevaluate that relationship, that trust, that intimacy in your partnerships. There could be some difficulty in the sixth house of health and of daily routines, of work. So you might have some struggles with your work right now that relate to maybe philosophical or religious belief systems, your moral and ethical value systems that frame your reality. They might be in conflict with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You might feel like you really want to change something, but maybe your beliefs don't allow for that, or maybe you're just not quite ready and you don't quite know how to move forward yet. There could be this energy of really wanting to change something involving your health, involving your day-to-day work experience, but having blockages that come in and slow you down. If that does happen, that frustration is coming up for a reason. You need to do things a little bit more slowly, take your time and do things the right way and not the fast way. And so, if you go through and face those challenges now, later on, things will open up for you so you can move forward a lot more easily. And then for Gemini and Gemini rising. So this energy with Venus and Neptune at the start of the week is happening in your 6th and in your 10th house. And so this is a really great time for any sort of creative projects or pursuits involving your career. This could also be a lot of really great energy around spirituality in your career path, mysticism. If you're in a career path that involves these types of things, then this is a really great time for you where you can get a lot done and you can make a lot of headway. Even if you're not in a creative field, this is a time where you can become more creative and make really great connections in the workplace and have really wonderful, powerful experiences. Work for you at the start of this week is going to almost feel like an escape from some of the other stuff that you're dealing with. So it's going to be like a welcomed reprieve. And so a lot of really great energy. This is a good time to visualize what you want for yourself in your career and especially in your day-to-day work experience, because you're going to very easily be able to manifest that into reality. At the end of this week, you have a new moon happening in your 6th house. And so that's a time where you can take that visualization, if you did that at the start of the week, and translate that into making some sort of change, into some sort of new beginning. You might have a little bit of a crisis when it comes to your health. You might, have something that you need to deal with that comes up unexpectedly involving your health or the health of somebody close to you. And so that could be part of this energy too. And that could cause you to have to unexpectedly take some time away from work or from the day-to-day grind, and that's completely okay. It's causing you to have to reset something and look at something and take a step back. But in general, this could just have an energy of needing you to, this could bring an energy of needing to change something in your work life, a crisis in your day-to-day work routines where things have become too mundane, too monotonous, or you're doing the same thing day in, day out, and it just feels like too much pressure, too intense. Emotionally and psychologically, it could feel like this is something that you really need to release and that you're having a crisis around. There could even be a crisis with your coworkers or people that work for you that comes up for you this week. But the end result is to liberate you from whatever it is that is causing psychological or emotional turbulence, anything that's causing that intense energy. And so this is going to bring divine inspiration that helps you to figure out exactly what needs to change moving forward. This energy with Mars and Saturn is happening in your 5th house, which is the house of play, fun, joy, romance, children. And this is being squared by Saturn in the 8th house, so there could be power struggles involving money, finances, or just power struggles in general that are causing you to have to refrain from enjoying yourself and doing the things that you love to do because you love to do them. There could be issues involving money or limitations and restrictions involving money that prevent you from engaging in your passions. There could be power struggles and difficulties involving children this week that prevent you from moving forward with your plans with your children. If that's the case, it's okay. It's just causing you to have to take a step back, slow things down, and reevaluate so that way you're creating a solid foundation for your plans before you move forward, and you're taking into consideration all sides before you just jump in headfirst into what it is that you desire. For Cancer and for Cancer rising, this energy here with Venus and Neptune is occurring in your 5th and in your 9th house. So this is a great time for escape into pleasure, into fun. This is a great time at the start of this week to just do something that you love to do because it brings you joy. And that's very much favored, especially creative pursuits or spiritual exploration. This would be a great time to take some sort of trip, even if it's a short trip, to just do something like go on some sort of spiritual retreat or do something really creative and fun. Do something indulgent, but maybe do it at a distance or do it in a way that is educational. So maybe you want to indulge in some sort of new educational or creative pursuit or a creative educational pursuit. Those things are all favored at the start of this week, but at the very least, just do what makes you feel good, because that's really what's favored, and that's where you're going to find that escape that you're craving from, the craziness that's been going on astrologically. And so, yeah, it's going to be a very nice start to this week for you. Later on into the weekend, you have a new moon that's happening in your 5th house. And so this isn't going to be quite as turbulent for Cancers as it is for some of the other signs, because Cancer is a water sign. And so this might be trining your ascendant sun or moon, especially for those who have those placements near that 4th degree. So anywhere, I would say, again, from 0 to 8 degrees, because this is going to be a very strong new moon because it's so close to the earth. This is going to cause you to come up with something new that's fun for you, right? This is you needing to engage in your passions in new and exciting ways. You could have something unexpected that comes up in terms of a social engagement or an invitation to go out and do something that you've never done before that sparks this passion, that causes you to experience something new that you never realized that you would enjoy. And so this could be like an unexpected new hobby that comes up. This could be an unexpected new romance that comes up for you if you do go out, if you do engage in social activity this week. And this is going to benefit you in a lot of ways. This is going to help you to really shift your energy in a way that allows you to really align your passions with the way that you show up in the world, with who you are and the way that you project your energy outwardly. And so that's a really nice energy. Where there could be some difficulty is actually in your family relationships and close one-on-one partnerships. There's this energy here with Mars in the 4th house where you might want to push forward with something. You might want to do something new when it comes to your home, your family, your place of living. But there could be an agreement, a contract, a negotiation that's taking too long or that's preventing you. Maybe some sort of contract that prevents you from moving, like a lease or something like that. There could be blockages from close relationships that are trying to prevent you from moving on or from changing something in your home or your family life. And so if that is the case, it's something to consider. You want to consider the needs of everyone and all sides of the situation before you move forward with any important new beginnings within your family dynamic, your family structure, your family relationships, or in your home and property. All right. And then for Leo and for Leo rising, this energy here at the start of the week with Venus in trine with Neptune, this is a great time for you to just take a step back, spend time at home, just do things that feel good and feel cozy and that feel really dreamy. Engage in spiritual practices or creative pursuits within your home. Connect with family members one-on-one, really do something to facilitate those family ties and those family relationships, to deepen your intimacy when it comes to your relationships with your family members or the people that you live with or the people that are closest to you. Those are all things that are favored at this time. You could even just spend time alone doing things that feel pleasurable, that feel good. This is a time for you to take a step back away from the world. Maybe take a personal day and just enjoy being at home and just relaxing and indulging in maybe a good book or a good movie or, painting or whatever it is that you like to do when you have your downtime. And then at the end of this week, you're going to have a new moon in this area. So this is also a time at the start of this week where you can visualize what you want for yourself when it comes to your home, when it comes to your property. Do you want like a big, beautiful, fantastic house? Do you want like a new apartment? Do you just want to change things in your current surroundings? If things are really good for you in that area, what do you want for your family life? What do you want for your family relationships? How do you want things to feel on the inside when it comes to those relationships? Those are all things that you can really meditate on, contemplate, visualize. And then at the end of this week into the weekend, there's an opportunity for new beginnings when it comes to your home and your family. There could be some change that comes or that's stimulated from your career. So there could be some sort of change in your work experience. There could be some sort of change in the hierarchy in your workplace. There could be an unexpected opportunity or an unexpected shift that causes you to have to start something new or change something or release something that's been holding you back psychologically or emotionally in your home life, or what goes on behind the scenes after work. And this could bring about, for Leos, especially for Leos, sun, moon, and rising signs near that 4th degree, so anywhere from 0 to 8 degrees, really, you'll be feeling this the most. It could bring about, an emotional crisis, some emotional turbulence that you have to deal with and address. If that is the case, it's showing you how you really feel about something, so that way you can create the change that you need to create in your life. And then this other energy with Mars and Saturn in the 6th and 3rd, you might have some issues at the end of this week with communication, especially involving coworkers or your workplace in general. And so this is a week at the end of the week and the weekend that's heavily focused on some frustrations, some difficulties, some challenges involving work, and especially work-related communications, and the need to change something, but maybe not do it all at once. Maybe there's some sort of blockage. Maybe you say something that you shouldn't have and you blurt it out all unexpectedly, and that causes some sort of delay or some sort of difficulty or some sort of blowback. So you want to make sure that you're considering the way that other people are going to perceive what you're saying before you speak. That's going to be key to navigating this energy, and maybe taking time and thinking things through before you send that email, that text message to your coworkers or somebody that works for you, or whatever it is that comes up for you in your life. And it doesn't have to be work related necessarily, but it's likely that it could be. In general, you want to be careful around communication this weekend. Okay, and then for Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for you guys, this Venus trine to Neptune at the start of this week is actually really great for communication. It's really great for connecting in relationships, for deepening your intimacy in communication in relationships. And so this doesn't have to be, in romantic partnership, but it can be. If you're in romantic partnership, this is a great time to connect, to talk things out, to discuss your dreams and fantasies and visions for your future together. All of those things are favored and can create incredible manifestations of these dreams and visions later on down the line, just by embracing the energy. Even if not, you can talk about these types of things with somebody close to you, with somebody that you care about. This is a great time for that. This is a great time for creative ideas and creative communication of all kinds, including writing. So if you are somebody who likes to write and do things creative and in an expressive sort of way, verbally, this is a great time for you to do that and to work on those types of things. Later on this week, you're going to have this new moon that's going to be happening in your 3rd house. And so, this is a great time for new beginnings when it comes to your ideas, when it comes to educational pursuits, when it comes to learning new things. And also, earlier this week, you can kind of think about what direction do you want to take with your education, or maybe with a class that you're teaching even, or with your writing or something like that, if those are applicable to you. Do you have dreams and goals when it comes to travel plans and things that you want to create in that realm? This is a really great time where into the weekend, if you visualize that, you can create maybe some sort of new beginning in this area. You can create an opportunity for yourself to travel, to explore, to grow, to expand your horizons through experience or through new education. This is going to be impacting Virgos more positively than some of the other signs, because this is going to be in trine with your rising sign and with your descendant. And so this is going to impact you and your personal relationships really positively. Whatever change you create, whatever new information comes in, whatever communication comes in, even if it feels really intense in the moment, it's going to most likely yield positive results, especially for those who have Virgo sun, moon, rising near that 4th degree. Again, anywhere from 0 to 8 degrees is the orb of influence that I'm giving here. And then for Libra and for Libra rising. So this energy is happening sorry about that. So for Libra and for Libra rising. So this energy is happening with at the start of this week with Neptune in your 6th house and with Venus in your 2nd house. And so this is a really great time to indulge in material pleasures, to think really creatively and visualize what you want for yourself when it comes to not only your material wealth and your material possessions, but also the way that you create those possessions through your day-to-day work routines and experience. And so that's a really great energy that you can work with. Also thinking about health outcomes or visualizing something involving, food or a new diet or a new health regimen, that could be something that could work really well for you at this time. So those are all things that you can think about. But this is a really great time for visualizing creative ways to improve your financial situation in particular. Later this week, you're going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio, also in your second house. And so there could be something that demands your attention that comes up involving finances. There could be some sort of psychological or emotional crisis around finances or material possessions that comes up for you into this weekend. There could be a really radical change in your financial situation that comes up, or a new opportunity even that could be experienced positively, but it could still bring about a little bit of turbulence and a little bit of uncertainty. This is, something that you're going to have to roll with the punches with for a lot of you. And so this is a great time to, at the start of the week, visualize what you want for yourself financially, but just know that the circumstances around your finances might change a little bit into the weekend, and so you might have to make adjustments. And this is a great time if you want to radically overhaul your financial situation, especially involving debt, taxes, other people's money. This is a great time to seed those intentions, to really make those plans, to sit with it, to contemplate what your next move is going to be strategic about it, because that is a Scorpio thing too. Later on in the month, these things can start to grow and come to fruition for you. And then for Libra risings, especially those of you who have your sun, moon, or rising near that 14th degree in the sign of Libra, this is going to be a particularly difficult energy this weekend where you might feel really angry or really frustrated about something on a personal level. You might want to push forward with something or take some sort of action. And, your living situation or important family relationships or family dynamics might actually get in the way of you doing that. It could even be that you want to push forward with something involving your home, family, property, and you're just experiencing these delays, these blockages. There could be difficulty in relationships or in contractual agreements or with your work that come up that prevent you from moving forward with whatever it is that you're trying to initiate. And that's okay. This is just causing you to have to take a step back, take your time, and to consider all sides of the situation before you move forward. Consider how your actions, no matter how pressing they might feel, might impact the people that you care about in your life. All right, and then for Scorpio rising, this energy here with this Neptune Venus is actually going to feel really nice for you at the start of this week. This is a really great energy with, especially for those who are Scorpio rising signs or sun signs or moon signs, and you're that 16th degree in the sign of Scorpio. So really anywhere from like 13 to 19 degrees will be feeling this really strongly. But Scorpios in general will be feeling this in a very positive way. You might feel more beautiful. You might feel more indulgent. You might feel more attractive or more sensual during this time. When you have Venus near your ascendant, this is a great time for you to get a makeover or to indulge in things that you feel are enjoyable for you. This is a really great time at the beginning of the week to just experience joy. Take time off, do something that you want to do because you love to do it. Indulge in creative or spiritual pursuits that you feel very passionate about. Go get a makeover. Go buy some new clothes, if that's something that feels good to you too. But really this is about finding your joy and experiencing your joy and tapping into that energy. This is a good time for play. This is a good time for romance. This is a good time for anything creative. Later on this week, and also visualize what you want for yourself on a personal level. Visualize your direction and your trajectory in life moving forward, because you're going to have an opportunity for a reset that's going to come later on this week. So at the end of this week, you might have a little bit of an emotional or psychological crisis related to your identity and the way that you're presenting yourself out in the world. It could bring a crisis of the body involving health. or maybe even involving your appearance. Maybe, that haircut wasn't so good, but I don't think that's going to be the case if you do have that Venus energy. But this could bring some sort of psychological or emotional crisis around the way that you present yourself or the way others are perceiving you. It could bring a psychological or an emotional crisis around your identity out in the world, the way that you're projecting your energy or moving forward in life. There could be some sort of need to change something pretty dramatically involving an important relationship, especially if you're Scorpio rising near that 4th degree. Anywhere from 0 to 8 degrees, because this is a strong energy, will be feeling this the most. So there is a need for some sort of radical change when it comes to the way that you identify with the world, but also the way that you deal with relationship. If your relationships have been feeling stagnant, stuck, murky, like you're not really having that passion that you really are craving in your relationship, this is going to shake things up. It's going to really take you out of your normal relationship routines. This could even bring in a new relationship for people who are not attached, or even if you are, this could bring in a new friendship. This could bring in a new really important work-related connection. This could bring in a new contractual agreement. This could bring in some sort of important, powerful insight that helps you to release attachments to past relationships, so you can move on to have better, more adaptive partnerships that are more congruent with your energy moving forward. There could be some sort of frustration. So you have Saturn in the house of communication, in square with Mars in the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. And when you have Mars in the 12th house, there can be sometimes when it's activated, somebody working behind the scenes against you in a sort of malicious way. And that might come out, in some form of communication this week, and you might have to deal with it, or you might have to address it in some sort of way, talk it out, or confront somebody. There could be some sort of frustration going on behind the scenes in that 12th house. When you have Mars in the 12th house, a lot of times your sleep is not as good. A lot of times you feel like there's some sort of tension beneath the surface, but it's not being expressed. And so it could be that you're just feeling really tense. You're feeling like there's something going on subconsciously that you're not really able to pinpoint, and you want to talk about it, you want to express it, and you just can't quite get there. And that's okay. It'll become more apparent, and you'll be able to express what you're feeling later on in a couple weeks, especially when Mars starts to transit Scorpio. There could be difficulties or a really difficult communication that sort of comes in out of nowhere that leads to some sort of blockage or frustration. If that is the case, it's coming in for a reason, and you have to really think about it, analyze it, look at it, address it, so that way you can move forward in the right way. All right, and then where are the rest of you? Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. So for you guys, this energy at the start of the week is just a really good indulgent energy for spending time at home, for spending time doing things that are spiritual or creative, to spend time in contemplation, to spend time alone, or alone with your family maybe. This is a really great time to turn inward. This is a time to indulge in things that help you to escape from reality, maybe even in a way that's mind-altering, with this Venus trine to Neptune. It's a time when you can indulge in these types of things in a way that is a little bit more beneficial for you. This is a really great time for creative ideas, for visualization, and just honestly, this is one of the best times for you to just kick back, indulge in spending time at home, rest, relax, because later on this week things might get a little more intense, and so this is your time of rest and reprieve. You can even escape into some sort of spiritual retreat or fantasy world if you want to. It's favored at this time. But the energy at the end of this week is going to bring a new moon in your 12th house. And, even though it's a new moon, it's a time of endings and new beginnings for all of us, really. And so this could bring about some sort of psychological or emotional crisis around endings or needing to wrap something up or let something go. And it can come about very unexpectedly. This could be something related to your past, to even a past life experience, but it could also be related to your present life and your present circumstances, especially in your work, and the need to rebel against circumstances that are stagnant, dull, or oppressive in the workplace. And so this is an energy of feeling that oppression, feeling that stagnancy, feeling that frustration, and needing to take a step back and contemplate how to take action in order to resolve that, to let go of what no longer serves you and what's bogging you down, especially on that emotional level. The energy with Mars is happening in the sign of Libra in your 11th house, squaring Saturn in the 2nd house. And so you've had Saturn in your 2nd house for quite some time. So this could ignite some frustrations around things maybe not moving forward as quickly or as easily as you might want them to, involving your finances or involving important matters in terms of your social circle or group activities. There could be arguments or disputes within your social circle and within your friend group. You might have some sort of friend that lashes out at you, or you might lash out at them. If that is the case, it's probably going to be because one or both of you is not considering the perspective or the needs of the other. And so taking a step back and taking things slow and not just addressing things and lashing out and losing your temper is going to be the best way to go. I mean, in general, but especially right now, because you want to really make sure that you see the full picture and that you plan things out before you move forward. All right. And then for Capricorn and for Capricorn rising. So for you guys, you're going to have this energy of Venus and Neptune in your 3rd and 11th house. So at the start of this week, this is a great time for you to engage in any sort of communication or social activity, especially if you're doing it for pleasure, right? So it's not about socializing for like a networking purpose for work or something like that, although you can do that, especially if you work in a creative field. However, this is more about escaping from the hardships of day-to-day reality through your social networks, through connecting with people who you love and you enjoy spending time with, through deepening your intimacy and your connections in all of your relationships, especially group relationships and friendships. Having really creative, fantastical, imaginative conversations with people that you care about and with groups of people. That's a really great thing for you to do right now as well. Even going to some sort of like creative group, or like a spiritual group or something like that, like going to some sort of drumming circle or spiritual meetup or something like that, that can actually feel really good. It can help to revitalize your energy, and you can experience a lot of joy through these types of activities. Later on this week, you're going to have a new moon in the sign of Scorpio in your 11th house, and this is not going to be the worst new moon for you. It's not the worst for anyone, to be honest, but it is that crisis new moon, that crisis lunation, right? But for you, this is going to bring about potentially some sort of really important change, or this need for change in your relationships, in your close friendships, in your romantic partnerships, in your relationships with your children, in the way that you express yourself in relationship. It's going to shake things up and make things more exciting for you, and it's going to really reinvigorate your passions in your relationships as well. And so anywhere in terms of your friendships, your group connections, your close one-on-one relationships, your romantic partnerships, where you're feeling stagnant, or you're feeling like you're lacking in that passion or excitement, this is going to shake it up, and this is going to bring that back into your life for you. So, and this could also bring about really important new connections, especially within groups. But even close one-on-one connections can come up very unexpectedly as a result of this new moon energy. And then the other thing that's happening this weekend, so relationships and friendships this week. That's really the focus. Communication, relationships, friendships, all of that. That's going to be where the good energy is going to be, and where you're going to have some positive change. Where things might feel a little heavy or a little difficult is going to be, in your work especially, and in the way that the responsibility that you carry for your work. It's going to feel heavier than normal. You're going to feel a sense of frustration, especially into this weekend. Like you want to move forward with something involving an important career change, or initiating an important project or conversation in your work. You might even have some sort of disagreement or argument or dispute in your workplace, and you want to push forward, you want to deal with it, but you can't. There's some sort of blockage, there's some sort of difficulty. That blockage is probably coming from you, from within. You're probably the cause of your own problems when it comes to any work-related frustrations this weekend. It's a good time to take a step back, to take things slowly and really plan things out before moving forward, and making sure that you are taking into account the needs of the other people in your workplace and the way that what you're initiating is going to impact other people. Taking into account all of these things before you take action is going to be especially important this weekend and into the start of even next week. All right, and then for Aquarius and for Aquarius rising. So this energy with Venus and Neptune making this really nice trine at the start of this week is actually going to be happening for you in your sector of career, public status, your work, also in terms of your finances. This is a really great time for you to engage in any sort of creative or spiritual types of pursuits related to your work, related to your career path. This is a great time to visualize what it is that you want for your work and how much money you want to make. What does that look like for you? Because visualizing this now can help you to really create the new beginnings that you want for your future later on down the line, and it can help it to manifest a lot more easily because you have the energy behind it right now. This is a really great time to indulge in material pleasures, and actually work at the start of this week could even feel like a little bit of an escape from reality and from things that in your life that are a little bit more pressing or that feel more frustrating or difficult. Later on this week, you have potentially some sort of emotional or psychological crisis related to your work. So preparing for that at the start of this week when the energy's nice and really visualizing what you want can help you to navigate that a lot more easily. Especially for those who have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising near that 4th degree, so anywhere from 0 to 8 degrees, you're going to be feeling this energy that can bring about an emotional crisis and the need for change across a lot of different areas of life. Your whole foundation might be shaken up as a result of this energy. So the crisis can stem from your public status or what it feels like you need to be doing for your work or some sort of work-related relationship or power struggle. But it can also require a change in your place of living or your family dynamic and your relationship with your family members. This can also bring about some sort of psychological or emotional crisis and need for change on a personal level when it comes to the way that you take care of your body or the way that you navigate through life, your path in life. And this could also create some sort of psychological or emotional crisis along with the need for change in an important relationship, especially work-related relationships, close family relationships, or relationships on a romantic level with people that you live with also. And especially if you work and live with them, that would be like the ultimate right here. If that is the case for you, you're probably going to have some sort of shakeup going on there. But the end result of this is going to be to liberate you from anything that's controlling you internally or externally, so that way you can have a lot more freedom throughout all of your experiences. And then for Pisces and for Pisces rising. So this one is happening in your 9th house. So at the beginning of this week, you have a really nice energy for you personally, especially if you are a Pisces rising near that 16th degree. You're going to, so anywhere from 13 to 19 degrees, you're going to be feeling this really nice trine on Monday at the start of this week, more intensely than other people. This is going to be a really great time for you to indulge in anything that feels good for you. Escape from reality, do something different, do something creative, take a creative class, go to like some sort of painting class or go to some sort of spiritual seminar or something like that. Those would all be really great things that could improve your experience. This is a great time to do anything that helps you to experience pleasure. This is a great time to go on some sort of adventure just for fun because you want to indulge and because it helps you to escape from the day-to-day monotony of your normal reality. This is a great time to expand your mind and horizons through experience, especially creative or spiritual types of pursuits, and especially in partnership with somebody else. So, find somebody who wants to go on an adventure or who wants to go, take some sort of class with you, especially maybe a creative sort of class that helps you to tap into your artistic abilities, and go do that with them. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be just somebody that you're close with. That would be one of the best ways to use this energy. And you can have a lot of really incredible results from this that you might not even understand as you're in the moment and experiencing it. And then later this week, like into the weekend, you're going to have the new moon in your 9th house. And so if you indulge in some sort of new learning experience or new experience in general, this could lead you to kind of feel like you need to do something new when it comes to your education, when it comes to having a new adventure. This could bring about some sort of really incredible new opportunity for you to travel or to engage with another culture. This could create a new opportunity for you to learn something that you've always been really passionate about, to have some sort of higher education in that area. This could create some sort of unexpected opportunity for you to speak or to teach about something that you're really passionate about, that you've really researched and that you understand on a deeper level, but also in practical application. This could be a great time for you to initiate that energy yourself, or to seed intentions if you've been wanting to teach something or to disseminate information about that type of about really anything that you're like an expert in, that you're really passionate about. And this is a great energy for Pisces in general, especially for those who have Pisces sun, moon, or rising near that 4th degree. So anywhere again from 0 to 8 degrees will be feeling this the most. This could bring about new opportunities, really exciting communication that changes your mindset about something and changes the way that you deal with your relationships, or the way that you navigate your reality, or the way that you even view yourself. So this is a great energy. Where things are a little bit more difficult or turbulent could be in the area of friendship this week, or group associations. Maybe you are a part of a group or organization and you experience some sort of power struggle within that group or within that organization. There could be some sort of blockage that could prevent you from moving forward with something involving the pursuit of truth and information, or the pursuit of finances, right? Especially joint finances, maybe some sort of investment or paying off some sort of debt. There's something that demands your attention that you want to take action on in the 8th house, or just deepening intimacy in your connections with people. Maybe you really want to move forward with something like that, especially on a physical level in relationship, and your friends are blocking you from doing that. Maybe you're out at the club and you want to get intimate with somebody, and your friend's like, no, don't date that guy, don't go home with him. And it's frustrating at first, right? But you realize later on that was probably for the best. I know that's really a specific example. It's only going to apply to a few people, but that's kind of the energy, So yeah, there's a lot of really great energy for Pisces, but there is this source of frustration and this source of difficulty that comes from the area of debt, joint finances, other people's money, power struggles, especially power struggles involving group associations. All right, and so that is my forecast, you guys, for all 12 signs. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends if you feel like they can benefit from this information. This is a really big full moon or new moon. This is one of the most powerful new moons that we're going to be experiencing this year. And it might be one that's a little bit difficult to navigate just because of the mixture of energy that's going on. So I hope that you all are able to use this well, and that you have a wonderful week, especially the start of this week. Engage in that fun, because you'll need that experience for some of you to pull off of later on in the week. And if you want to learn more about astrology, think about taking my course. 20% off. The link is down in the description below. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.